Hello students. Today I'll show you a sample of speaking कि किस तरह examination में speaking होती है, how the examiner assesses you over the scores and जो आप बोलते हैं उसके basis पे आपको कैसे band scores मिलते हैं. So I have one of my student here today with me and she's going to give me the speaking. I will take her complete speaking and after the speaking I will also give the feedback over her answers. So let's get started. Okay, so ready?
Yes,
What is your name?
my name is Avneet. You may call me as my first name Avneet.
Okay, so Avneet, from where are you?
I'm from Kurali, which is located nearly 25 kilometers away from
Okay, so can you please tell me something about your secondary school?
I have passed my senior secondary education in International Public School, which is the best school in the district. Mohali provides best education. I also have won the infrastructure, having best infrastructure award.
Okay, so which subject did you find the most difficult during your school days?
I have find most difficult during my school time because I have to learn so many formulas with, and I find it too difficult.
Okay, so do you ever need that subject now in your life?
No, I don't think so that I will have again this
Okay, so what did you enjoy about being a school student?
subject. I have enjoyed a lot of being a school student, such as having participated in various extracurriculums, having participated in functions, school functions.
Okay, let's now talk something about buildings, Avneet. So are there any famous buildings in your hometown?
Yes, there is Asian building in my hometown, Gurdwara Sahib of Ninth Guru. It is located near the village which come under my city.
Okay. Should buildings be attractive to look at?
Yes, I think traditional buildings should be attractive to look at so that people can go there and visit and learn about their roots.
Okay. And what is the most unusual building that you have ever seen?
It is a building in my city in between the market. It is very scary building. Plants have grown between the building. The construction of building had been done with the mud, and people said the paranormal activities have observed there, and it is and very negative vibes come from it.
Okay, thank you so much, Avneet. Here we end up with your part one. Now we shall begin with the cue card. I will give you a topic and you would have 2 minutes, sorry, you would have 1 minute to prepare on that topic. After the preparation, I'll ask you to speak and you will continuously be speaking for 2 minutes. You have a paper and pen to make your notes over the topic. So, your cue card is that you need to describe an interesting story that you heard or read about in the news. Okay, so here is your cue card. You have a paper and a pen to prepare. 1 minute you have for the preparation. You may start, please. Okay, time is up for the preparation. You may start speaking now.
I belong from the Sikh culture. I am very interested in watching the stories of Sikh culture. One day I was sitting at the home and seeing the news channel. It was a telecast of movie Char Sahibzadas in the form of story. It was the story of Char Sahibzadas of Sikh cultures. As we do not have got anything free, we have got everything at the cost of sacrifices of the life of our forefathers along with their children. It was the war between the Sikhs and the Muslims. The emperor of Muslims, Aurangzeb, was the villain at that time. He wanted to control all over the country to make sure that the only Muslim culture will live along. So he made war with all other cultures. Our Guru Gobind Singh Sahib was the king of the Sikhs. He used to do this war for the security of all the other cultures. The four children of his was also four children of his was in the war. They two of them two small of them was buried alive in the wall in order to show their power, and two of them were killed in the war in the ground of the Chumkar Sahib. I think all children and individuals should watch or listen this type of story so that they can stay connected with roots, and it encourages a lot children to believe in their forefathers and God.
All right. Thank you so much. Here we end up with your cue card. Let's now move on to part three, that is the discussion round. Before that, may I have your paper and the pen, please? Okay. So let's start with the discussion. My first question is that when do people like to read the newspapers?
Usually, people like to read the newspaper at the morning with a cup of tea.
So how important is it for the people to have a choice of newspaper?
It is crucial to have choice in between the newspapers, such as languages. People have many languages. They used to learn about one particular language in the Asian period. So, particularly, a great generation have problem to read a newspaper in other languages. That's why the choice should
So
be
what
there.
does a good newspaper contain?
A good newspaper contains the general knowledge and news about all around the world, and some other activities so that children can learn in interesting in from newspaper.
Okay. Talking about the future of newspapers now. So why do some people choose to read the news on internet rather than in the newspaper?
People choose to read news on the online because it is costly to have newspaper, but practical newspaper as it is free on the internet to read the news.
Okay. And how is internet news different from the news you read it in the newspapers?
Internet news are the different from the newspapers news because sometimes there can be rumors of anything and it displays the wrong news, and people can get scared from that.
Okay, and last question is that will internet news ever replace newspapers? Why or why not?
No, I do think so that newspaper can be replaced by the internet news because especially the old people like to read newspaper with a cup of tea. They do not prefer to read news on the mobile phone because using mobile phone can cause very harmful effects on our eyes and health.
All right, thank you so much. Here we end up with your speaking. So that is it. Okay, students, so you've seen that how she has given her speaking test, but there were lots and lots of errors and mistakes that she needs to practice a lot. So I'll just discuss those with her. Okay, so Avneet, you have tried well, you've spoken well. That's perfectly all right. But what problems you had in your answers? सबसे पहले तो grammatical errors. Try that your grammar should be appropriate. It should be on point. जैसे I have found difficulty. I have found difficulty नहीं. I found it difficult or I find it difficult for myself. अगर आप present बोल रहे हो, past बोल रहे हो तो I found it difficult. I have found it नहीं होता है. ठीक है. सिमिलरली आपने बोला था I belong from Sikh culture. No, not belong from, it should be belong to, right? So the correct collocation is belong to, not belong from. ठीक. ऐसे ही कुछ प्रोनाउंसिएशनल मिस्टेक्स थी, जैसे आपने वॉर, तो वॉर बोलते हैं वार नहीं, राइट? सो दैट इज पंजाबी टच विच यू शुड इम्प्रूव. दैट, इट्स दैट नॉट दैट, द नहीं द. ठीक है. ऐसे ही आपने बोला था विलियन, सो इट्स विलन. ठीक. ऐसे ही चिल्ड्रंस कभी नहीं होता. चिल्ड्रन अपने आप ही एक प्लूरल वर्ड है. ये बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स मिस्टेक करते हैं. सो माइंड दिस, child is singular and children is plural. Okay, so you should not use the plural word instead of, मतलब mistake नहीं करना है, confuse नहीं होना है दोनों चीजों में. ऐसे ही person singular होता है, people plural होता है. ठीक है. Child singular, children plural. ठीक है, चिल्ड्रंस इज नथिंग इन इंग्लिश. इसके अलावा यू हैड लिटिल इरेलीवेंट आइडियाज. क्यू कार्ड जो आपने बोला अच्छा बोला, लेकिन आपने बड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड टॉपिक चूज कर लिया अपने लिए, तो आपको उसमें वर्ड्स नहीं मिल रहे थे बोलने के लिए. यू गॉट कंफ्यूज एट सर्टन पॉइंट्स. आप बीच में थोड़े पॉजेज ले लिया आपने. क्यू कार्ड में एक तो बिल्कुल ही डेड पॉज हो गया, है ना. सो वो पॉजेज जो हैं जितने कम होंगे, आइडिया जितना क्लियर होगा, उतना ज्यादा स्कोर अच्छा मिलेगा, राइट. सो आई होप आपको पता है स्कोरिंग कैसे मिलती है. आपके ग्रामर के बेसिस पे, आपकी रेलेवेंसी के बेसिस पे, आपके कंटेंट के यानी कि टास्क रिस्पॉन्स के बेसिस पे कि आप क्या बोल रहे हो, है ना. सो ये चीजें, फ्लुएंसी, प्रोनाउंसिएशन, ये चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है स्पीकिंग में. सो वेन एवर यू गिव स्पीकिंग, मेक श्योर यू चूज अ टॉपिक. इफ यू फाइंड इट डिफिकल्ट टू स्पीक स्टूडेंट्स, तो मेक श्योर कि आप ऐसा टॉपिक अपने लिए चूज करो विच इज गोइंग टू बी easy for you to explain. Don't choose very difficult things for yourself. And when you're explaining, make yourself very clear. तो बड़े आराम से simple language use करके बोलने की कोशिश करो. Don't try to unnecessarily make it complicated. Okay? So speak something which should be to the point, understandable, and very easy to relate to. ठीक है? So these few things were there, and if I give you a band score today, maybe you could get till maybe you could get 6 as well, but I would today give you 5.5. I really wish that you can improve these points which I have told you, right? And you definitely can score 6 plus. Okay, so thank you for the day. Okay, so as in the previous video, you saw a sample answer of a student who scored 5.5 bands, and there were so many errors, so many mistakes that the student has made. बहुत सारी ग्रामेटिकल मिस्टेक्स थी, बहुत सारे जो आंसर्स थे उनमें आइडियाज उतने स्ट्रांग नहीं थे. तो लेट्स जस्ट हैव अ डिस्कशन ऑफ द कंप्लीट टेस्ट कि किस तरह के क्वेश्चंस हैं, कौन से आइडियाज हो सकते हैं, क्या बोल सकते हैं आइडियाज इन क्वेश्चंस के लिए हम. तो वो सारी चीज़ें वी हैव पवन मैम विद अस, एंड वी बोथ आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस एंड लेट यू नो कि क्या क्या चीज़ें और आप इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं अपने आंसर्स में टू मेक योर स्पीकिंग्स रियली द बेस्ट. ओके, सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. Okay, so ma'am, first of all, what do you think? Avneet ki speaking mein kya problems thi?
Ma'am, I think that she was not sure what she was speaking.
Yes.
As I can say, she was full of confidence, but the thing is, whatever she was speaking, she was not sure about that. She was making the mistake and taking unnecessary pauses where it was not required.
Absolutely. So first thing, if you are confident, that's very good. That's a thumbs up. But you have to be sure कि आप क्या बोल रहे हो. आपने mind में जो story structure करी है, what kind of story that is, and are you able to explain that story very well or not? So first, let's talk about the part one answers. So ma'am, what do you think? Don't you think that her answers were too long?
Yes. In the starting, like in part one, we have to be very relevant with the question. We don't have to give unnecessary information, and we should try to keep it short, not too short. Like we have to give the answer in just 2 to 3 lines, not more than that.
Absolutely. So the answers, if they are very long, you're going to go for it, right? Because see, if you're speaking in part one, very long answers, it is totally unnecessary, because these are not the discussion questions. It's neither the cue card that you have to speak, right? So part one is just general introduction round. तो answers बहुत short रखने चाहिए, to the point रखने चाहिए. जैसे we have this part one question which I asked her. It was, tell me something about your secondary school. So she said about the school, the name of the school, the infrastructure, and even the award was given for the infrastructure. So which is not required.
That was unnecessary.
That is too long. So instead हम बोल सकते थे that I have done my schooling from XYZ school, जो भी आपके school का नाम है, you say that, and it was quite good. Equipped with all the basic facilities. The teachers were really very good, and I loved my school.
Yeah,
that's it.
The thing.
So that's more than enough. Second question was, what subject did you find most difficult at school, and why? So what?
She talked about maths. Here she was having grammatical error, but I think the answer was quite good.
Yes, exactly. So do you ever need that subject now? Why or why not? And she said, no, I don't need it. So honestly, it's not like that. Maths we need in our daily life. So आपको ये नहीं पूछा कि आप पढ़ेंगे, would you study that subject in future? You rather would say that yes, I
Yes.
need mathematics in day to day life. I have to go out, I have to do shopping, I have to buy so many things. So yes, we need that subject in
And
life.
ma'am, students generally have this problem that we don't have to give negative answer. So I think this should be clear that yes, you
Yes.
can give, but I think we have to give the reason with that.
Yes,
There is a
exactly.
confusion that we always have to give the positive
Many a
answer.
times.
So you can go with the negative answer, but you should have a like valid reason for
So it's really not that कि आप आंसर जो है वो पॉजिटिव बोलें तो मार्क्स अच्छे मिलेंगे या नेगेटिव बोलें तो मार्क्स अच्छे मिलेंगे. No, it's not like that. If you're speaking a negative answer also, it's absolutely acceptable unless and until you have a valid reason to explain why you feel that way. Okay, so yes, these were some questions and the examples. What answers can you give for those questions? Kuch questions they related to building. Like there was a question: are there any famous buildings in your hometown? What are they? So you don't have to say always just one particular word. Ancient building, ancient building, ancient building. Ancient buildings वो होती हैं जो बहुत ही पुरानी होती हैं. They are related to some cultural history, some heritage or something, right? Rather, she said that there's a very old building in my town,
ancient building. She said.
ancient building in my town. So instead of that, you can say just simply say that yes, there are numerous old buildings in my town, but out of those, there's one of the ancient building which is very famous. It's the building of a temple. ठीक है कुछ ऐसा बोल सकते हो.
And also don't try to copy the question, like you have to change it, like you have to paraphrase it, try to
Yes.
paraphrase your answer.
Very
Like
important.
we don't have to start our answer with because, we have to start with the question, but try to paraphrase it. Like the question was, are there any famous buildings in your hometown? So she said there are many famous buildings. So try to paraphrase it, try to use your own words instead of
Yes,
using the same.
very, very important. So don't just copy the same, use paraphrasing, don't use the same words what the examiner has asked you. Second question was, in what type of building do most people in your hometown live? So you can go for saying apartments if
Yeah,
most of the people are
apartments.
living in apartments,
Or
or
you can add
maybe
that there are people are living in nuclear families, so they are
yes.
having mostly 2 BHK. Like we can
Yes,
say
you
that
can
also.
say that also.
You can add that
Also, you can
information.
say that many of the people near my home are living in their own personal homes.
Yes.
Yes, so it's totally up to you, but no much explanation is required. Okay, well, there was next question. Should buildings be attractive to look at? Why or why not? So you can say yes or you can say no. It's totally up to you. As ma'am mentioned that you can go with positive yes or negative no answers. So that's absolutely okay and acceptable if you're giving valid reason for that. So you would have said, for example, if I want to say, I can say that yes, definitely buildings
Yeah,
should
this
be
should be
attractive to
attractive.
look at because when somebody sees the building from the outside, they should feel to go in and have a look at
Yeah.
it. So yes, I think it's really important that the building should be good to look at. So rather than saying again and again attractive to look at, you can say good to look at. It should be beautiful. It should be mesmerizing. Any such words could be used. Okay, now let's discuss, ma'am, about the cue card. What do you think?
Here she chose a complicated topic like of need. So try always to choose your idea which is easy to explain. Don't choose too complicated ideas because sometimes जब आप बहुत complicated सा topic choose कर लेते हो मतलब complicated सा idea choose कर लेते हो, you are not able to speak. आप बीच में pauses ले लेते हो and आपको पता नहीं लगता कि आगे मैं उसको कैसे बढ़ाऊं या कैसे extend करूं.
Elaborate.
So
Yes.
try to choose easy topic which is easy to speak, which is easy to explain.
Yeah, for example, अगर मुझे बोलना हो तो I would rather say, ma'am, that okay, first of all, try giving a small introduction to your cue card. थोड़ा सा ऐसे start करें कि
Direct start नहीं करना.
ऐसा लगे कि I'm introducing the topic first and then I'm coming to the point. So probably I would have said that day before yesterday I was sitting free and I thought of going through a newspaper and I read a lot of stories there, but one was very interesting and it really touched my heart. It also taught me a moral, and the story was about a small young boy who, with his bravery and efforts, saved hundreds of lives. That day it was rainy, and the boy, with other friends, he was playing near a railway track when he noticed that the track was severely damaged. The other kids went away to their home, and this boy was really serious about it, and he wanted to save the people because he knew that if the train would pass by from the track, it could lead to major accident. So he rushed to his father. He asked his father and convinced him to go to the nearby station and report the problem. They both went to the station. They tried explaining the situation to the station master and the officer over there. The people went for inspection, and yes, it was really a serious damage. But it was almost the time for the train to arrive, and they quickly called the nearby station where the train was to stop before reaching to that platform. It was luckily a good day for the people sitting in the or traveling in the train, and the people got the information on time. The driver took a immediate action, and they stopped the train, and the journey was cancelled there and then itself. Uh, this is the reason why this boy was also given a prize and an award for his bravery to save lots of people's life. There were around 500 passengers in the train. So आपको ऐसे नहीं बोलना कि आप किसी से मतलब कोई कहानी सुना रहे हैं बिना किसी pause के. It shouldn't be like as if you have crammed the answer. It should be जैसे हम
Yes.
normally बात कर रहे
There
हैं.
should be some voice modulation, like somewhere
Yes.
your voice will go up and somewhere
It will go down.
And you
absolutely.
can take the pauses somewhere जहाँ पे हम अपना point finish कर रहे हैं. We can take the pauses over there, but हाँ unnecessary pauses हमें नहीं करने. Like ma'am was speaking, so she was taking the pauses in between where it is required. Actually.
Also, I was trying to use a few of the fillers like
Yes.
and so
Yes.
this shows that you're speaking it naturally. You are actually not coming from home with that all crammed answer.
Yes.
Right? It should be very natural. It should be very relatable.
Yes.
A person who is listening to my story should relate to that, should understand each and everything. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है. And once you finish your answer, so just give a small conclusion. So you can probably say, so this was one of the interesting and motivating story that I read day before yesterday in a newspaper. So इस तरह से आप end भी करोगे अपने answer को with a small conclusion. So it's really important. Follow these points if you want to get yourself 7+ band score in the speaking section. Also, students make a lot of mistake in their discussion part. What they do is या तो discussion के answer बहुत छोटे कर देते हैं या
like
बहुत ही ज़्यादा extended कर देते हैं, which should not be there. So answer कितना lengthy होना चाहिए? What should be the answer limit according to you, ma'am?
I think the answer should be quite detailed. It should be of around 5 to 6 lines.
I think yes, absolutely. 5 to 6 lines are more than sufficient. Speaking more than that could also have a negative impact on your answer because you're
जितना बोलेंगे उतनी
Yes.
ज़्यादा mistakes.
और आप बोर कर रहे हैं काइंड ऑफ एग्जामिनर को, तो ही डजंट वांट टू गेट
Hmm.
दैट. बट बहुत सारी लाइन लगी हुई है स्टूडेंट्स की जो एक एक करके आ रहे हैं, स्पीकिंग्स दे रहे हैं. सो वी डोंट वांट टू मेक द एग्जामिनर बोर्ड विद आवर आंसर्स. रादर वी डोंट वांट द एग्जामिनर टू थिंक कि इसके पास तो कुछ है ही नहीं बोलने के
Yes.
लिए कि ये एक लाइन में बोल के फिनिश कर दिया
Yes.
इसने. So जैसे यहाँ पे अवनीत ने, this was my first question, when do people like to read the newspaper? So she just said that they like to read the newspaper in the morning with a cup of tea. So I think वो बहुत छोटा हो
छोटा
गया
था, it
था.
was too short.
Yeah, so a little explanation, maybe they could say that in the morning they're fresh, they want to know about the world around them, so they pick up the newspaper and they take a sip of tea, and along with that they read the news about the world. So they get themselves updated in the morning and make them prepare for the rest of the day. So thoda sa explanation is very much required. So ma'am, what do you think? जैसे questions थे the future of newspaper. So यहाँ पे भी कुछ गड़बड़ थे उनके
she was not
answers.
able to explain her point actually.
Yes.
So there can be many ideas. The
For
question
example,
is,
this question.
why do some people choose to read the news on the internet rather than choosing it rather than in the newspaper? So here we can talk about that these days people are too busy in their own work. They have to work 24/7 and they don't have time to read the newspapers. So mainly people want to get updated, so they check it on their mobile phone. There are various apps these days where we can get the news. So we can add on the information. You can also use the connectors in between when you finish your one point.
So for example, the other question was that how internet news different from the news that you read in the newspaper. So the news on the internet is very crisp. It's very updated. It gives every second's news within fraction of seconds. You don't have to wait for whole of the day, or you don't have to wait for the next day to read the news. Rather, in the newspaper, the news is very detailed. It's too long. It is
Yes.
boring. It is time consuming. Also, it is laborious because you have to read so much.
Yes.
So
There we can also see the audio video
audio
facility.
video clips.
It
Yes.
makes to understand the whole
Yes.
scenario more clearly.
So that's it. I guess these are few points which you should keep in mind if you want to really score well. Don't go off track. Stay relevant. Stay to the point. Just listen what the examiner is asking you and answer the question accordingly. ऐसा नहीं है कि जैसे ही फटाफट क्वेश्चन सुना बोलना शुरू कर दिया. तो समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि यू डोंट गेट द जेस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. आपको पता नहीं लगता कि एग्जामिनर पूछ क्या रहा है. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि until and unless you don't understand the idea behind what is being asked, it's very difficult to answer relevantly. तो उतना ही बोलो जितना important है. आंसर ऐसा हो कि हम बातचीत कर रहे
Yes,
हैं.
it should be
shouldn't
kind of conversation.
conversation. ऐसा नहीं कि आप इंटरव्यू देने जा रहे हो. It's not an interview, it's a conversation with a person. So try communicating your ideas well with the person. Also, we were sitting together and we were talking. So I think आपको उससे आइडिया लगा लेना चाहिए कि किस तरह का एग्जामिनेशन है. ऑफ कोर्स वहाँ अब मैम was speaking and I was also explaining, but examination में examiner will be sitting and will not interrupt you, but फिर भी वो आपकी बात सुन रहा है. वो आपको फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस दे रहा है. अपने जेस्चर्स से कई बार आपको एग्जामिनर बताता है कि हाँ भाई और बोलो.
Yes.
आपको अभी रुकना है. राइट. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स. सो यू हैव टू कीप दिस इन माइंड कि आप अपने आप को फिजिकली एंड मेंटली वैसे ही प्रिपेयर करके लेके जाएं. सिट स्ट्रेट ओवर देयर. कई बच्चे मैम
Yes.
लीनिंग.
Yeah,
यस. तो
they-
प्लीज टेल द स्टूडेंट्स अबाउट दैट
you
आल्सो.
don't have to move your hands a lot like this and that. So you have to sit straight. You have to keep your hands like this.
Yes.
Try to make eye contact. You
Very
can
important.
yes
Very
you
important.
can look at the points when you are speaking the cue card, but don't look so much in your that paper.
Yes.
So try to make eye contact in between. That's very important.
Because it gives a feeling to the person that you're talking directly to them.
Yes.
Rather you're not telling crammed answer or being very robotic when you are giving your answer. So it's very important कि जब बात करो तो eye contact बनाओ. अच्छा, हाथों को जैसे मैम ने बताया, keep it on the table. Don't move it around your
Yes.
face all over. ठीक है.
Some students are having the habit of
yes, absolutely. जब हम एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे हैं वो चीज अलग होती है. जब हम इंटरव्यू दे रहे हैं वो चीज अलग होती है. तो इंटरव्यू के टाइम पे आपको अपनी बातों से एक्सप्लेन करना है आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हो. अपने हाथों से एक्सप्लेन नहीं करना आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हो. यू कैन मूव इट बट very restrictively. For example, this thing, right? You can use your hands over here near the table. Don't go above that. Okay, so I think that is more than enough for the video. Otherwise it will be very long, but no problem, we'll definitely share a lot of details with you further. And if you want to have the personal training with us, we are definitely there, and we are available for the online as well as offline sessions. We both are going to help you in the online classes. We also are going to share a lot of videos along with you, so stay connected with us and subscribe to the channel. If you don't subscribe, then we feel that our efforts are not being appreciated. We are trying to take out so much time from our busy schedules, from teaching the students. We have online classes, we have offline classes here, but still we take out a lot of time to make such videos for you guys, for those students who cannot visit the institution in person and who want to have the classes through the videos, and which is free of cost, of course. So please like, share and subscribe the video so that you can see both of us making a lot of videos for you and giving you lots and lots of information about IELTS and PT. So thank you for the
Thank
day.
you so much.
Thank you.